Hello everyone and welcome to the New York Empoleon's semi-final battle against the Calgary Infernapes and Aaron 2-4-20. Now we are finally getting around to this battle. It took a little while, it is a new year, but it is time to go. Now what exactly happened? I guess I owe you guys a bit of an explanation. We finished our match against Matt at the same time Tom was supposed to play Omega, and they got delayed. And then Tom won and was supposed to play Aaron, and they got delayed. And finally, Tom actually conceded and said, I'm not going to have time to do this. Real life came up, which very legitimate. Completely understand that. So Aaron de facto got into the semifinals. Now, did he de facto go into the semifinals because he didn't deserve it? Absolutely not. He comes in as the 1 seed. So absolutely deserving of his spot here in the semis, and the winner will go on to take on the winner of the other semi between Josh and Austin, Garchomp the God. So, Aaron's team, the 1 seeds team, we beat him in the regular season. I don't expect it to be a cakewalk this time. Yes, Ribombee has a good matchup in this. There's no denying it. But he could bring a lot more bulk this time to try to counter that. Really nervous about this match. I think he has a finals quality team, and we have to make sure we can play a finals caliber game in order to take it down. So, what are we looking at? Like last time, his team has not changed. Tapu Koko, Ferrothorn, Zygarde 50%, Reuniclus, Snorlax, Cofagrigus, Zoroark, Alomomola, Typhlosion, Mega Beedrill, and Vullaby. Same team as last time, his same Z users of Tapu Koko, Zygarde 50%, and Typhlosion, and not a lot of other changes going on as far as anything on his team. What does that mean for me? It means I have to bring something different to make sure that he can't be too comfortable, since I do always upload a team builder, as does he. So we were able to look at his team builder and go through his sets in great detail in prep for this, since we had so long to prepare for this. And so I was able to make sure that I have in my notes what he brought last time and what I would expect him to bring this time. He didn't bring some things that I definitely think are coming this time. The Cofagrigus does have a pretty good matchup against my team. The Mega Beedrill has a pretty good matchup against my team. I think those two are possibilities. I do have answers for Trick Room, so I'm not as worried about it. But Cofagrigus by itself, threatening Will-O-Wisps, and just being generally a nuisance is a thing that I have to worry about. Otherwise, I do think Mega Beedrill should come. If he's worried about webs and Mega Beedrill doesn't come for that, then he's going to bring Vullaby to try to get rid of the webs. But Vullaby doesn't scare me too much, and if he brings Vullaby, it means he's not having something else, whether it's Typhlosion or Zygarde or Koko, or it's not going to be Koko, or Zoroark. If Vullaby comes, then one of those isn't there, and I'm okay with that. And what I'm going to do this time is kind of use what I did last time and kind of go through what's different this time and how I wanted to work things out in a slightly different orientation. So last time we brought Groundium Z Landorus with Stealth Rocks on it. This time we are going to go with Assault Vest Landorus. It is going to be rocking out with Knockoff, U-Turn, Earthquake, and Superpower with 244 HP, 76 Special Defense, and 188 Speed with a Careful Nature. This allows it to outspeed everything after Sticky Web. Actually, it might just outspeed Koko after Sticky Web. I don't actually believe it necessarily outspeeds Beedrill. But I will double check on that. Yeah, it outspeeds Koko after Sticky Web. It doesn't outspeed Mega Beedrill after Sticky Web, but I'm not as worried about that. If he does speed creep my Jolteon with his Beedrill, I do outspeed him after Sticky Web. If he does go max speed Jolly, then I don't, but I'm not as worried about that. Earthquake is so spammable against his team. Aside from the Vullaby, which doesn't want to switch into a knockoff, and I can always just U-turn out on, Earthquake is super spammable. I am going to see if I can bluff Scarf for a little while, but I'm not going to take the chance to bluffing Scarf as a deterrent for me to play intelligently and use U-turn where it's appropriate or knockoff where it's appropriate. If he goes into Vullaby and I click Earthquake, I'm not going to bluff the Scarf so much that I don't click knockoff, unless I really think it's so early in the game that I think I can get a huge advantage out of that. But otherwise, I think knockoff is really valuable to have. This thing threatens just about everything, and if I can get webs up, threatens literally everything on his team. Next up, we have Jirachi. Last time I ran a cheeky Calm Mind, Ancient Power, Weakness Policy Jirachi. This time we're going to go a little bit more, I don't know if it's standard, but a little bit more defensive set. Impish with leftovers, Healing Wish, Stealth Rock, Iron Head, and Toxic. This thing is rocking a good amount of speed, 196 speed in order to outspeed everything, including Beedrill after webs, and then 204 HP and 108 defense with an impish nature. So very physically bulky, allows it to be more of a check to Beedrill. Obviously nothing is truly great at loving staring down a Beedrill, and I do have Mandibuzz and Landorus that are better switch-ins to Beedrill, but this thing does allow me to come in on a particular possible poison jab or something like that. This thing doesn't do a lot of damage by itself, but Toxic on his team looks amazing. Getting that status around, definitely better than Underwave in my opinion this week. Stealth Rocks are great this week, just to get them up because, again, Vullaby is his best defogger, but all of his defoggers, except for Koko, are weak to rocks, being Mega Beedrill and Vullaby. So that's great. And this thing, I want to keep it healthy, but at the same time, since I outspeed everything after webs, Healing Wish in the mid-game can give Landorus a second lot on life, and that can be really hard for him to break down a second time. Since Landorus is Assault Vested, it can take 2 Hidden Power Ices from non-Life Orb Modest Koko. If it is a non-Life Orb or if it is Life Orb Timid, I can take 2 Hidden Power Ices, Healing Wish back up to full, and then take more Hidden Power Ices from Koko and keep that as an answer, a pretty solid answer to Koko. Iron Head is there just because since I do outspeed things, who knows, I might click it to try to get a couple flinches, but we know it's me, it's probably not going to happen, so this thing is more support, and then switch in late game, mid game, Healing Wish, and give a chance for me to win in the late game without worrying about it too much or without worrying about taking too much damage on my Lando too early. Next up we have, I clicked the wrong way, next up we have Rabombi. Rabombi this week is going to be pretty much the same set as last time, except instead of rocking out with the Quiver Dance, we are going to bring the Psychic. And the reason being, I think that this thing has a very good matchup where it can catch the Mega Beedrill off guard if he's not, if he's after Sticky Webs. So if I can get the Sticky Webs up, this thing can come in on a Mega Beedrill and click Psychic. It's not the most generally usable move. There's a couple of things like the Zoroark that threaten this thing's Psychic capabilities, but I think Sticky Web's really valuable this week. I think Psychic is good. I don't think I need the Quiver Dance, and Psychic gives me a little bit of a better check to the Beedrill, which I think is really important. I am running 180 speed instead of the 188 speed I ran last time, but otherwise everything is exactly the same. Max Special Attack Timid, and Hidden Power Fire is the thing that I'm going to throw on this for the possible Ferrothorn, just so that it doesn't get a free switch into this, and this becomes setup fodder for that Pharaoh. Next up, we have Boyd the Mega Gallade, Drain Punch, Bulk Up, Ice Punch, and Shadow Sneak. 140 HP, 148 attack, and 220 speed with a Jolly Nature allows me to outspeed Zoroark, and even Scarf Zoroark after Sticky Webs. Get up 1 Bulk Up, and I can KO most of his non-super bulky mons, like Reuniclus and Cofagrigus. Get up 2 Bulk Ups, and Shadow Sneak to KO both of those, as long as I don't get burned. And otherwise, I think this thing tries to come in the mid game, set up a bulk up, and then proceed to dent his entire team. Ice Punch can be very valuable against things like the Vullaby if I can get some chip damage on it. And I don't want to try to set it up too early. I don't want to lose my Gallade too early, but this is the other option for a Healing Wish from Jirachi. So bulk up, Shadow Sneak, take out something, or Ice Punch, take out something, and then go with Jirachi. If I get burned or something, Healing Wish, come back in, no more burn, back to full, bulk up again. Sort of depends on what team he brings, whether Landorus or Mega Gallade is going to be the better option to switch into his attacks, and then be able to Healing Wish, but it's sort of how it's going to play out. I really don't want to let this thing go down too early, but I can let it get weakened a little bit because of the Healing Wish on Jirachi. Next up, we have Drampa, which I didn't bring last time. This is replacing Jolteon on this team. I do think Jolteon has a good matchup, but I actually think Drampa prepares better for this matchup, since it gives me basically a 1-for-1 in every situation. This thing takes down a threat. I don't really care, honestly, which threat it is. Koko is not going to take me out with a Dazzling Gleam, and then Hyper Voice at +1 takes him out. Focus Blast is going to take out Snorlax. Draco plus Hyper Voice is going to take out something like Reuniclus. And nothing takes me out in one shot. Everything requires 2. So we are going to be able to get off the Berserk, get to +1, and then Hyper Voice or Draco or whatever. Since I outspeed the Snorlax, the Cough, and the Reuniclus, I think it made sense for me to bring it this week. I thought about Z Draco Meteor, which since it just hits like a nuke, it's super hard and nobody brings a Koko in on a Drampa. But I decided to go with Z Focus Blast, mostly on the grounds that Draco Meteor still doesn't KO the Snorlax and still doesn't KO the Cofagrigus, and those are the two things that I would have used it as a nuke for. So I might as well go with the thing that at least KOs the Snorlax, and then make this slightly less of a check to Cough. Glare is incredibly valuable, hitting everything that he could potentially switch into this, depending on his predictions that he wants to go with. And I don't mind getting a para on something. Like I said, I think Toxic is a generally better status, but I also think that for Drampa specifically, Glare can be incredibly useful, and I could get a couple of good para hacks, and that can change the entire tide of this battle. So I do think Glare is incredibly valuable on this Drampa. If I do burn my Fightinium Z and have to land a Focus Blast, well, it's the semifinals. We've got to land Focus Blast. If you're not landing Focus Blast, you're not going to make finals. That's kind of the way it's going to go and the way that I think about it. And lastly, we have my Mandibuzz, which is incredibly hard for him to break outside of Coco or some stray Thunder from a Reuniclus or the Nature Power Z move that he brought with his Typhlosion last time, something like that. But he has to tech it specifically for Mandibuzz, and I still think Mandibuzz presents a pretty good matchup for him. I am running 20 speed just to outspeed a speed creeping Vullaby, since I do want to be able to taunt that thing. And then I switched Toxic to Whirlwind just in case he's running Curselax. Since this is a pretty decent switch into almost any Snorlax. Foul Play, generally useful. Is it the best move ever? It's okay. And then Roost allows me to just recover some damage. This thing wants to sit in. It does not. I do not want this thing to go down. I have to watch out for things like Reuniclus being a possible switch into this, just because if he goes for a Thunder or something like that, or if I think he's going to go for a Thunder, I definitely want to switch out into maybe my Jirachi or Drampa or Landorus, so that I don't take... If he's switching his Reuniclus into my Mandibuzz, he's showing me he has Thunder or Thunderbolt, and I definitely want to not let my Mandibuzz just take that hit. So that's the team we're going to be rocking this week. That's the semifinal team that we're going to be bringing. This is only my second semifinal appearance of all time, so make sure you go check out Aaron and the Calgary Infernapes and his side of the battle, which should be uploaded very shortly after this is recorded, just because I don't have... Like, we're so late anyway that we might as well get it done. And hopefully we end up taking a W and going on to the finals. I can't guarantee that's going to happen. We do have the Focus Blast this week, and we've got some wonky sets, and we're missing the Quiver Dance on the Rabombi. So we'll see what happens, but I hope you guys stay tuned for that battle. I hope you guys are excited, and I will see you guys back here in a second when we take on Aaron in this semifinal battle. All right, folks, we're back. I don't think I put the first one in, but and I don't think I'm going to put this in either, but all right, everyone, here we are. You can see what we are predicting Aaron to bring on the screen. For those who skip the team builder, we are playing the Calgary Infernapes, coached by Aaron2420, as you probably also saw in the title. And we are predicting him to bring Zoroark, Mega Beedrill, Zygarde, Snorlax, Tapu Koko, and Vullaby. But I could absolutely see the Typhlosion coming again, like last time. The Cofagrigus and Reuniclus are scary as well. I don't necessarily see the Alamole or the Ferrothorn, but they do have their niches in this battle, so for sure he could bring those. But if you want to see more detail about our sets, definitely go watch the team builder portion of this video. But we will be bringing Mega Gallade, Jirachi, Landorus, Mandibuzz, Rabombi, and Drampa. And this is it. This is the semifinal battle. What is he bringing? He does bring Pharaoh Reuniclus and... okay, he brings the bulk. The bulky Mons. That's, you know... It is what it is in some level. You're going to have to deal with it if you're going to face Aaron's team. But that's okay. I think we have answers to his bulk. Clearly a Trick Room team. Do I want to set up my webs? That's a question that I think the answer is yes. He doesn't have the Vullaby, so I can really freely spam Earthquake with my Landorus as long as I can get it in. But if I do lead with my Rabombi and he leads with his Reuniclus, like straight up, then I'm in a bad spot. I could lead with my Mandibuzz, but he could lead Coco. I don't see him going Trick Room first turn. But without the Vullaby, I want to see where he's going to put Defog, if he's going to put Defog anywhere. I could lead with my Jirachi, which can set up rocks and scout out what he wants to do. And nothing is going to Oko Jirachi. The thing is, if Pharaoh leads, then I do have to watch out for that as well. Because if he starts setting up hazards on my side of the field, that's no better for me. But I think my best lead is going to be with the Rabombi here. No. We're going to lead with the Mandibuzz. If he leads Coco, we can switch out. We have answers to Coco. Mandibuzz can stop the Pharaoh from setting up rocks. It can stop the Reuniclus from Trick Rooming, unless he's running Mental Herb or something, but then you get one Calm Mind or one Trick Room, which isn't the end of the world. I can handle that. I can Whirlwind if he starts setting up Calm Minds with his Reuniclus, stuff like that. So we are going to get started against Aaron, and here we go. Mandibuzz is going to be our lead. If he leads Coco, burned by Clefable. That is the Mega Beedrill, and we are in, folks. This is the battle. So let's see. Mega Beedrill, not that scary. Could knock off. Foul Play would take this thing out in one shot, which is absolutely phenomenal for me. He could try to set up his Toxic Spikes or something like that, but I think that he was predicting me to lead with my Rabombi. Honestly, if I did lead with my Rabombi, I probably would have clicked Psychic there, since he doesn't have anything to stop me from doing that. But as it stands, I think Foul Play is my best play here. And if he does stay in and go for a knockoff or a Poison Jab, we take that just fine. And we are able to take out the Mega Beedrill, which is a huge threat off the table. And he is just going to go straight for the U-turn. That's not surprising in the slightest. And let's take a look at the damage that he just did. I need to move things around. I can't see the damage he just did based on where my stuff was. But it has a U-turn on it. And U-turn should have done about 30%. But he really doesn't have any great switch-ins. I probably should have, actually done the things that I do on my layout and taken off the things that he didn't bring and put on the things that he did bring. But, we didn't. So we're going to do that now. Lullaby, Zoroark gone. We've got Cofagrigus. And we've got Reuniclus. Where are you, Reuniclus? There you are. So there's the Coco, which is really his only breaker, his only way to break down Mandibuzz, and we don't stay on this ever. He could go Thunderbolt, and he could go Hidden Power Ice. And we don't really know much about this Coco, other than it is not defensive. That was a pretty max roll from my Mandibuzz on a very non-defensive Coco, but specially offensive Coco, so maybe not physically offensive this time. So Jirachi's fairly free, as is, depending on his spread, although if he Thunderbolts, Jirachi's less safe than Landorus. But I'm expecting him to predict the Landorus, which is why I think Jirachi is the safer option. And then I can set up my rocks for free if he doesn't Thunderbolt. But I am going to go into Landorus here. I think even though it is predictable, it's still not a terrible option regardless. And if he is physical somehow for some reason, then we get to find that out. He's probably running U-turn for the Jolteon. And there's the Toxic. Okay, so he Toxics my Lando. So he is going to go with some real stally tactics here. That's okay. We do have the Healing Wish on Rachi. I really wish I'd gone it right now, but I couldn't do that. Probably not Specs. I'm going to click... I can click EQ here, and it is 100% free. There is literally nothing stopping me from clicking EQ. I can also click U-turn, but I think EQ is better. If he goes Pharaoh, then I can click Superpower the following turn. And if he goes with the... goes down to the Mega Beedrill. I'm not sure what you were predicting, but I clicked Earthquake. And... Oh, that's a bulky Mega Beedrill. Okay. That's real bulky Mega Beedrill. So Mandibuzz is the safest switch here. I wish it was Rocky Helmet at this point. I could go into Jirachi at this point, but he could have the Drill Run on this thing. Mandibuzz is definitely still healthy enough to take any hit from this, so that is going to be the switch. He could go Toxic Spikes with this. That seems to be the team he's playing. He's definitely playing a bulkier team, which makes me feel like I really don't have any reason to set up my... anything but rocks, and rocks would do me very well at this point. So could have stayed in on that for sure, but wasn't really worth it. I guess I didn't really have any reason to switch out, but Mandibuzz is safe. It can root on anything except for the Coco, which if he goes Coco, and I went Lando last time, I think I go Jirachi this time, as he will probably Hidden Power Ice. And... I can, or I go Lando again, since I am going to take any hit from the Coco, any 2 hits from the Coco, although Toxic's going to scare me a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be running Shuka this time. The way he's playing it, he doesn't look like he's running Shuka. And we do get a little bit of leftovers back. Now, I can go Lando. He's probably going to Hidden Power Ice this time. And again, I don't know if he's Life Orb or not. He hasn't shown anything except for the fact that he is not defensive at all. He's very offensively invested, but he has Toxic. He could be Specs Toxic, but I don't see that being the play. He could be Scarf Toxic. That I could see being more likely. But I think Jirachi... I don't think he goes Thunderbolt here, because I went Lando last time. So I'm going to go into Jirachi here, as I hope he Hidden Power Ices. That's my sincere wish, is that he doesn't click Thunderbolt. There's Hidden Power. Okay. So we do bait out that Hidden Power this time. And we see that do literally nothing to Jirachi. Which means that he is potentially physically offensive and bulky. Because that should have done a lot more. And we know... Yeah, we know that he's not Life Orb. I guess if he's not Life Orb, he's not doing much more than that. And we do see that he isn't Life Orb, which is important information. And I can set up rocks at this point completely for free. There's really nothing stopping me. Yeah, U-turn. Okay, so we see the U-turn. What's that going to do? So it takes me from 190 to 170, which is not particularly offensively invested either. And I think rocks are just going to help wear down his team. Pharaoh definitely can come in here. He goes out into the B-Drill, which I guess doesn't have another switch in after this if it doesn't have Defog. And so almost why not go into the B-Drill? And if he's Mega B-Drill, Drill Run's doing about 50%, which is fine by me. I can click Iron Head here. He's not going to be able to take me out. X-Scissors doing about 50%. He can U-turn if he wants to, but Iron Head's going to be my best play. If he goes out into the Cough or the Pharaoh, that's going to be a problem. I could go into Lando here, which is not a terrible option in my head, since nothing really freely switches into the Lando, and it preserves my Jirachi for later. And he's probably just going to go Ferrothorn here if I stay in. I wish I had U-turn on this thing right now. But I don't. And as a result of that, I could go Mandibuzz again. I don't think that's the best play. I think it's either stay in and click Iron Head if I think he's going to Drill Run and sack, since if he doesn't have Defog this week, which he may not, this is probably just a sack. So I'm going to go Iron Head. If he U-turns, then he has... okay, he roosts. Okay. So I was going to say, if he U-turns, then he has Defog somewhere. But I'm going to click Iron Head, which does a little under 50%, which is unfortunate. But, again, I don't really know what he's doing to me. He's just able to U-turn now. Which is annoying in some level, but otherwise isn't a big deal. I could go Drampa here, although he seems to be somewhat bulky. I can go Mandibuzz if I think he's going to Roost again, and just click Roost of my own at that point. But if he straight U-turns, then I've got an issue. And if he just goes back into Coco, then I've got some other issues. I don't see him U-turning at this point, although he does survive the switch into Stealth Rocks. He went straight bulk this week, so we have to watch out for a lot of bulky threats. But I think if I can get my Gallade in at some point and click Bulk Up, we're in really good shape. I just need chip on the Cough and the Reuniclus, a little bit, not even a ton, just a little bit of chip. I don't think he U-turns straight up here. He probably roosts one more time, and I'm going to go into Mandibuzz. If I had Zen Headbutt, or Heart Stamp, or Fire Punch on the Rachi, I think I would have been in better shape. Or even Flash Cannon would have probably done more, since this thing has much lower special defense than... has much lower physical defense anyway. But at this point, he's reasonably healthy, so he's probably just going to U-turn at this point. I think Roost is my best play here. There's not a ton that I lose by doing that. So he could stay in, predicting that and go for a Poison Jab. Or Toxic Spikes, that's an option. So yeah, he's going to T-Spikes here. Okay. So I am going to be able to get a Roost up, and we are going to be able to foul play freely at this point, or Whirlwind if I think he's going to U-turn into his Coco. But I think foul play is better. So he's going to go for the U-turn here, probably into Coco, which is going to take 25% from foul play plus 12% from rocks. So we are going to chip away at his team slowly, but he probably has Roost. If he's running Toxic Hidden Power U-turn Roost on Coco, I'd be very surprised, but you know, Aaron's going to do what he has to do to break down my team, I think. So I think Jirachi is my safest switch at this point into this Coco. With Toxic Spikes on the field to break Rabombi's Sash, I do have to watch out for that. And we are going to be able to switch out on the Coco. He hasn't really Thunderbolted yet, which is interesting. And I'm curious what his last move is. If it's Roost, then he just doesn't have Thunderbolt, which I'm not complaining about at all. And with Rocks up, Landorus should be able to just click Earthquakes pretty freely, which means I really can't let Jirachi get more damage than it already is. He also doesn't have a great way to hit Drampa. So, Tapu Koko, we know he's not Life Orb. To Amanda Buzz. If he's max special attack, he's still OHKOing with Thunderbolt, or pretty close to it. Definitely KOing from this range. So I am going to go into Jirachi, I think. Do I want to go into Jirachi? If he Thunderbolts here, which he very well might, then Jirachi's going to take a lot of damage. And he's not Life Orb. It's not going to be quite a 2-hit KO. Or it might be, like, depending on his spread. So I am going to go Jirachi here, since we know he's not Life Orb. And we know he's not Specs or anything. And if he Roosts, then we know that he doesn't have Thunderbolt, and he really actually isn't as much of a check to Mandibuzz as I thought he was going to be. But there's the Thunderbolt. And he gets the Paralysis. And he shows that he is pretty much max special attack. We get back to 103, which is a pretty mid-range roll if he's max special attack. There's a 55% chance that he OHKOs from there with a Thunderbolt. And I don't think letting Jirachi go down is my best option. That's really unfortunate, but we do find out his whole set, which is fine. And I can maybe just go Drampa here. Since Thunderbolt's not doing a ton, he doesn't have a Fairy-type attack, and I can just Hyper Voice from there on pretty much whatever, except for the Cofagrigus, which comes in and I click Glare. And so I think Drampa is the play. I think Jirachi still has value to me because it has Healing Wish. And since I know that I can take the Thunderbolt, and even with Thunderbolt and Spike, Toxic Spikes, he won't put me under 50%, then I can still get Berserk off of his next attack. If he goes for a U-turn, I hit Berserk. And I can Glare here, but I think Hyper Voice is going to be my best play. If he goes Cofagrigus, fine. We can always switch out on the Cough and be able to come in with something else. And yeah, it means I don't get my Berserk off, but I can also just Draco at that point. I thought about running Flamethrower. So there's a Hidden Power Ice, so he's going to let this thing go down. This shouldn't take me out, and it doesn't. So we are going to take out the Coco, which makes Mandibuzz incredibly hard for his team to break, which is amazing. Because at that point, we are going to be able to, take out the Tapu Koko. So, Drampa kills Tapu Koko with Hyper Voice. I wasn't going to try to overpredict there. Drampa did what it had to do, in my opinion. And if he goes into something slower, then I can actually switch this thing back in later. There's really no harm in doing it, since I outspeed the rest of his team and can get one more major attack off, which is actually a pretty good thing in my opinion. So I think Mandibuzz is the switch here. And if he sets up another layer of Toxic Spikes, fine. I could go Lando as well and Intimidate, and if he U-turns, then just have Lando in, which is better than Mandibuzz. Although Mandibuzz has Taunt for anything else in his team, and doesn't really care about this Beedrill at all. And can Whirlwind and Taunt. But I also don't want to like let it take that damage completely unnecessarily, so I am going to go Lando here. He can't really do anything to Landorus. This thing has a base special attack of 15, so if he's running Hidden Power Ice, you know, more power to you. But Landorus can come in for pretty much for free here, and intimidate this and see what he wants to do. There's the U-turn, so what are you going to go into? Landorus is going to outspeed everything that you could possibly go into at this point. And be able to knock off, potentially, or superpower the Snorlax, or Earthquake, you know, if I wanted to. But I don't think I want to leave it in right now, because it is so valuable to me late game. But if he does go Ferrothorn or Snorlax, maybe I don't. Superpower, maybe I just U-turn off the Snorlax. If he goes Cough-Egregious, since I can't be burned, and Cough can't take me out, I am toxic. Hex is going to do about 30%, which we're going to be okay. Knockoff's going to do about 30%. Cells at work, that's Reuniclus. So yeah, I can U-turn off this thing. He's definitely Magic Guard, okay. So we confirm that he's Magic Guard. Which is good, we know he's not Regenerator. And he's gonna set up a 100%. He's about to set up a Trick Room. I don't have Taunt. I could knock off for 70% unless he's Colbur, which is a very big possibility. So I'm gonna click U-turn. There is no sense in my mind in letting this Landorus take any unnecessary damage. And he does about 40%, so that is not. It is a max HP, but probably especially offensive Reuniclus. And I have my Jirachi, which is paralyzed, which probably still outspeeds the Reuniclus, all things considered. But he's 100% going to set up a Trick Room. There's no doubt in my mind that that's what's about to happen. And so at that point, I'm going to go into Mandibuzz, because this thing, yes, it can Thunder, but I want to bait the Thunder here. So there's the Trick Room. Yeah, that's not surprising at all. I want to bait this Thunder. I want to see if you have it. You don't have the Psychic Terrain. Thunder would kill if he's Life Orb. If he's not Life Orb, it won't. But we just saw Leftovers, I think. No, we saw my Leftovers. Yeah, we didn't see Leftovers on him. So he could be Life Orb. Thunder kills. Thunderbolt doesn't, even if he's Life Orb. And yeah, Thunderbolt maxed out at 177. Thunder, there's a roll that doesn't kill, but I'm curious if you have it. And I think the best play at this point is going to be going out into potentially Danza to just sack it. And scout if he has the Thunder. And then if he has the Thunder, be able to react to that appropriately. As opposed to just letting something die unnecessarily. Like my Mandibuzz, which is arguably impossible for him to break late game. But Danza can get one more attack off on something later. But I think Danza's done its job. It took out the Coco. So I am going to switch out my Mandibuzz here. Scout the Thunder. There it is. There's the Thunder. He does land it. So that is really good information to verify. And we don't have verification if he's Life Orb or not, because he's Magic Guard. So we'll never know, but I would assume that he is based on the fact that he went for that. And so what is my switch in to Reuniclus with Trick Room if it's Life Orb? Mega Gallade's not going to die to one hit, and a +1 Shadow Sneak has a chance to kill from there. So he's got Thunder and Trick Room. Do I think he's running Shadow Ball? I could have gone Landorus there, which would have been a fun play. But then I would probably... Well, Psyshock would kill, but Psychic wouldn't, since I'm Assault Vested. Jirachi from Reuniclus. Shadow Ball does kill from where it is. I could go Rabombi here and sack that. and then proceed to kill with Mega Gallade, which I think is probably my best play. This is going to be an effective sack of this Ribombee, but I get to scout whether or not you're Psychic or Psyshock, which can really help my Landorus out information-wise. I'm just going to click Moonblast. There's really no issue with that play to me at all. I don't lose much, and Mega Beedrill, as a threat, is handled by the Mandibuzz without the Tapu Koko to go into. And Landorus still has a very good chance of being useful, and Mega Gallade is still very healthy as well. So he might switch out and preserve this thing at the health it's at. He may click Recover, which would be annoying if he has the Recover, but if he has the Recover, he's missing some coverage move. But he may do it so that the Poison breaks my Focus Sash, which would be frustrating. But he is going to withdraw. We know he's Magikarp, not Regenerator, and goes into Ramen Classic, which is the Snorlax. Ramon Classic, I think. Which does get hurt by the Stealth Rocks, does eat a Moonblast here, and I do lose my Focus Sash, which is frustrating. But Snorlax, with a return, is a roll to kill if he's max attack Adamant Nature. And he may Curse, which would be bad, potentially bad. What are we looking at for turns of Trick Room left? 2 turns of Trick Room left. If he Curses, I can go into Mandibuzz and it can take the hits just fine. And I can Whirlwind around his team a little bit. If he just goes straight for a return, I can save my Ribombee. I could also set up a Sticky Web here, which may bite me in the butt, though, if his Beedrill is... Well, it's clearly not a super fast Beedrill. Honestly, Curse is the worst thing, but I didn't activate a Berry. I need to know what this item is. I need to know what's going on here. But I could Sticky Web. I'm going to Moonblast. And we're going to see the just straight return. What spread are you running? Wow, he did not make it happy. That's unfortunate for my opponent. That is a... Okay, it's a Figgy Berry, Wiki Berry, that's fine. So he's going to be Gluttony. And that means that I can go into my Jirachi here and Toxic this thing and bring my Ribombee back in later. He did not make it max happiness, and I can Toxic. If the Ferrothorn wants to come in, at that point I just click Healing Wish and go into my Landorus, and I'm able to recover that health. So there's the Curse. I'd rather Toxic this thing. If he has Rest, then I have Mandibuzz, which can Whirlwind later. And so I'll be okay. Jirachi getting a little bit of health back is fine by me. And the Twisted Dimensions are going to return to normal. I should outspeed you now that the Twisted Dimensions have returned to normal. Especially after the Curse. And we are going to get the Toxic off, which is great. We are going to be able to poison the Snorlax. And we do have the Whirlwind if we need it. And there's the Recycle. So return, Curse, Recycle. We knew the Recycle was coming, but that's fine. Because I can always go into Mandibuzz if I want to. And he's going to be taking a little bit of Toxic. He probably has Earthquake as his last move. And without being max happiness, Mandibuzz switches freely in on this thing and doesn't really care about anything it wants to do because return isn't going to do any damage. And so there's the Earthquake. We are going to see his whole set. He does not have any sort of way to... what's the word for it? Recover his HP, except for the Berry, so we can taunt freely. And Return's going to do nothing. If he goes into his Ferrothorn, that's fine. If he goes into his Cough or his Reuniclus, that's fine. If he goes into his Mega B, that's fine. He has no way, except for Reuniclus's Thunder, to break Mandibuzz, which means he's not going to switch it in hard, because Mandibuzz could click Foul Play. And Barbara comes out. That is the Ferrothorn. And we are going to get a taunt off on the Pharaoh and not have to worry too much about it. Neuter it as a threat for the most part. I could click Whirlwind. I don't think that's going to be my best play. Just not revealing the Whirlwind means that his Excuse me. But we know his Snorlax can't touch me. I can always taunt his Pharaoh. I can always taunt anything. I really don't know what this wants to do now. It could go for a Gyro Ball. It can't Leech Seed. It can't Rocks. It can't do a whole lot of things. It's probably Rocky Helmet. It's not Leftovers. So that's good information. He could Gyro Ball. That's probably all he can actually realistically do. Which means Whirlwind is actually relatively free. And I'm going to click it. There's really nothing I lose. There's the knockoff, so I lose my Leftovers, which is annoying, but we get a Whirlwind off. So what are you going to go into here? It's going to be the Mega Beedrill. And I, at this point, can click Foul Play. And if he goes back into his Pharaoh, I just click Taunt on it. If he really wants to play that game. But I do take a little bit, and then I Taunt, and then yeah, so he U-turns. U-turn into what? Because that does a decent chunk. If it's Pharaoh, then I take a little bit more. I Taunt, he clicks Gyro Ball, I click Roost, and then Whirlwind after I Roost, and I end up in the same position I'm in now. And it's the Reuniclus, so he's putting me in a position where, well, I can click Foul Play again now that I've clicked Foul Play once, because it'll take it out from there, and he can't safely get a Trick Room off. And if he goes Pharaoh here, same thing. And there's another Foul Play. So that should take out the Reuniclus here. We saw that he wasn't Colbur. So we saw, what was it? What took out Drampa? I don't remember. But Mandibuzz kills Reuniclus with Foul Play. And something took out Drampa. It was something I was scouting to be Life Orbed. Reuniclus. Reuniclus kills Drampa with Thunder. Okay, that's what it was. We got there eventually. So out comes the Cough. Now he's probably going to either Toxic or Willow or Trick Room here. He can't do anything to me if he doesn't have access to those moves. So I click Taunt, and it's 100% safe. If he goes for an offensive move of some kind, it's probably going to do nothing. Shadow Ball, if that's the best thing he can hit me with, then we just Roost here, and it's 100% free. And there's really nothing he can do to Mandibuzz to break me now. He has no answer. He's not Leftovers on this either. He's possibly Colbur. But there's another Shadow Ball. So as long as we pay attention and make sure we taunt him every tauntable turn, he's going for special defense drops right now. I can click Foul Play. I don't care if my ability is Mummy. It really doesn't end up making that much of a difference to me. And that's a little bit of damage. And there's the Mummy. I mean, he's not going for any Spore-type moves, so I'm not super worried about Overcoat. And there's a Shadow Ball. Even if he gets one, maybe even two special defense drops, I'm pretty fine with that. There's the Taunt wearing off, so we can't let him do anything else. We just go for Taunt again every time. He probably clicks Shadow Ball. I really don't care. He's stuck in a position where Mandibuzz is, I think, pretty much impossible for him to break at this point. And if he gets the Spadef drop, he kind of earned one. I can go for Foul Play here. I can go for Roost on the next turn, and then I can Taunt on the following turn. And then that's our Taunt, like our whole Taunt turns and everything, so we are going to chip him down. I am not going to let this particular advantage go. This is the semifinals. We play the game we got to play. You bring Bulk, I will bring Mandibuzz. We'll see who's going to win. So we can Roost here, and it's 100% free. He can Shadow Ball if he wants to. He can't break Mandibuzz. He lost Coco, and he didn't bring the Typhlosion, and Whirlwind allowed me to make sure that his Ferrothorn and Snorlax can't wall me. Snorlax, what he's probably trying to do is get Snorlax in as the last Mon, and that will enable him to not be able to be Whirlwinded, which is actually an interesting strategy on his part, and I'd be curious to see how it would play out, mostly because he doesn't have the return as max happiness, but even then I can always just Taunt Foul Play until Kingdom Come, and I just don't think he's going to kill me with his Snorlax. And, you know, at this point, I really just don't see how he's going to break this Mandibuzz. Ferrothorn can't do anything to me. Cofagrigus can't, and Snorlax can't because you brought a team that is very weak to Taunt and very weak to Mandibuzz, and I brought Taunt Mandibuzz. So I just have to make sure I'm paying attention, watching the game, not missing how many turns of Taunt he has left. So one more turn, so we can click another foul play here. No, we click Roost. Yeah, I click Roost. I'm not in any rush to kill him, so Roost is fine, just because it's the last turn Taunt. And he still hasn't gotten a Spadef drop, which I find particularly fascinating in all honesty. You know, there's a crit. No Spadef drop, Taunt wears off. And we are just going to click it again. There's nothing... Is this how I expected the battle to go? No. Did I expect him to bring only bulk, though? Not really. So I just needed to take out Coco, which Drampa was definitely there to do. Drampa was a very solid Coco answer. I baited the Coco into getting a little bit more damage than I think he wanted it to have. And we're looking at 2 turns of Taunt, so Foul Play, Roost, and then 1 more cycle, and we'll be good. And yeah, so there's a Shadow Ball, and I don't know what item this is. It's not doing a ton of damage. He's got 1 more turn of Taunt left, so we can click Roost again. And just be healthier. And, you know, if Aaron is going to complain, and he might, and I don't love this style of play, then I just want to remind everybody that he brought Snorlax, Reuniclus, Cofagrigus, and Ferrothorn, and drafted those Pokemon, mind you. He also drafted Alomola if he wanted to be super annoying, but he didn't bring that this week. I don't really need to Taunt. I can just Foul Play. It actually keeps me healthier. So, there's no sense in clicking Taunt when it's going to die to Mandibuzz, and we're at as healthy as we're going to get. So Mandibuzz kills Cofagrigus with Foul Play. Now again, I think what he's trying to do is get Snorlax in, but I can Taunt it, and he can't Curse. There's the Beedrill, which he has to click Roost here, but I can click... Okay, he has to click Roost. So do I Taunt after his Roost? Or do I Foul Play? I mean, I don't know how bulky he has to be to survive a Foul Play, to be honest. Like, if we're looking at max HP, max defense, he's still probably going to die to a Foul Play. So he sets up another layer of T-Spikes just to get them up, but I don't think that's going to end up being a big deal. And we are just going to click Foul Play here. Mandibuzz kills Mega Beedrill with Foul Play. And I think what he's doing is putting himself into where Snorlax can't be Whirlwinded. Nope, there it is. There's a Snorlax. So he's putting himself where Ferrothorn can't be Whirlwinded. But I can be taunted indefinitely. So we are going to taunt the Snorlax here. So he can't Recycle, can't Curse. We've taken out both of his Trick Room setters, so this thing can't go first for any reason. There's the Earthquake. It doesn't affect me, and he's going to take a little bit of toxic damage. He is going to get his Wiki Berry back after this, which is a little bit frustrating. I won't lie about that, but we might as well click Foul Play. There's really no shame or harm in it. And again, I am not going to let this advantage go to waste. That was a lot of damage. This is a very offensive Snorlax if he had, made his return what he was supposed to make his return. I'm curious what this would do if he was max happiness on the Snorlax. Mostly on the grounds that I do personally think Snorlax has a pretty decent matchup against my team for the most part. And is pretty scary. Although Mandibuzz, even at +1, since I have the Whirlwind, I don't think I was too afraid of the Snorlax as long as the Trick Room wasn't up. And he goes for the Earthquake, and he can't get the Wiki Berry back, so I am just going to be able to click another Foul Play here. And the Taunt wears off, but I am just going to click Foul Play, so he can't click Recycle or anything. And honestly, at this point, the Ferrothorn? It's an interesting matchup here. I know that I probably shouldn't... I mean, there's no reason I should lose to the Ferrothorn. But as long as I taunt it. But it is an interesting matchup here. It's going to take me a hot sec to finish it off if he's bulky. And I may run out of Foul Plays during that process, which would actually be frustrating. Although I do still have 12, or 11. But I mean, the answer is click Taunt on everything he has and make sure that he can't do any of the shenanigans he wanted to do He was going to set up Stealth Rocks. Nope, that's not an option. We are going to go for a foul play. I'm curious if he's Rocky Helmet. If I was him in this case, I probably would be Rocky Helmet. And that's a lot of damage. And he's not Rocky Helmet. I don't know what items anything has in this case. But now he's Mummy and not Iron Barbs, which is hilarious. I had completely forgotten that I had gotten Mummy as an ability. So that's actually particularly hilarious to me. If Knockoff is his only offensive option, I can click Foul Play again. I can't even get Iron Barbs at damage at this point. So Mandibuzz is going to be able to hit this Ferrothorn for 25%, and one more should take it out. And since I don't think he has Leech Seed, but I'm really not in a position to... I don't want to risk it. You know what? I want to win this game. I want to. If he has Leech Seed, he's going to reveal it here, because there's a chance he survives the next attack. And he goes for the Knockoff, which means he probably doesn't have Leech Seed. And I can probably kill here. I don't need to click Roost at all, just because that would be delaying the game. But if he did have Leech Seed, there was a chance that it was going to be Leech Seed Protect and annoying like that. That is the roll I didn't want to happen. So that's why I went for the extra taunt, just to make sure that Mandibuzz could do what Mandibuzz needed to do. Now let's see this. Please, Mandibuzz, don't, I don't know, miss or anything. That would be the worst. Kills Ferrothorn with Foul Play. And he brought Bolt. He brought something crazy to try to counter my team. And we were able to take down Aaron and the Calgary Infernapes. One more battle in the ICBA, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Great game to Aaron. Unfortunately, he just didn't have an answer to Mandibuzz, and that's just the way that the cookie crumbles sometimes. You just hit that one Pokemon that you just can't break. I've definitely been there with Como-O all the time. I can never break Como-O. But anyway, we will be taking on the winner of Ultra versus Garchomp the God in the finals of the ICBA, my second finals I've ever made. So congratulations to whoever wins that game. Best of luck to you, whomever you are. And I will see you guys back here, I think next week, I would assume, although with the way this went out, who knows. But I will see you guys back with the finals of the ICBA very soon. So thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all next time. Welcome to 2019. Take care, everybody.